ask some questions, Jacob, based on what people had shared on stories as well. I know I've taken a lot of live questions.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Yeah. Is it okay to go to India for H1B stamping?
Yes. Yeah, it's okay to do that. Is there a risk, of just to be transparent, I've had a couple of clients who had H1B through consultancies who are in what's called 221G processing. So this is not where their visa has been denied, but it has been refused and is in administrative processing. And one of those has been that way for 6 weeks, and we're still waiting on responses. I believe this was in Delhi. And, it's just been issues with trying to get the consulate to communicate with us on how quickly they're going to make a decision. In a perfect world, I probably wouldn't go. If you have things you need to do for family or health or whatever, I understand that. You should just be prepared. There may be higher scrutiny than what you're used to.
Got it. Do I need to register with the federal government if I'm on H1B?
Yeah. I'm guessing you're talking about the biometrics requirement that was there. So what it says on the announcement is that if you have an I-94, you shouldn't be required to register. Now, in full disclosure, I've received 3 or 4 RFEs on cases for EB1s or EB2s. Nothing about the merits of their case at all, but saying that they were requesting them to come and provide biometrics as a part of their petitions, which has never been required for just the petition alone. So I would say their announcement says, no, you don't have to do that if you have a 984. Is it possible they ask you still to do it? Yeah, they might still ask you to do it.
Got it. I'm on H1B and I have my visa stamped. I need advice on travel plans for my H4 spouse. Can they travel?
Yeah, I would say it depends on your spouse's status. So if they have H4 already, then I would make sure you go together. I've heard a few too many bad stories of spouses traveling alone independent of the primary applicant who have not been approved. So I would just make sure you go together if possible.
Laid off and I want to change from H1 to F2. How long does it take, and can I use my remaining H1B period later?
Yeah, it should take, F2 is going decently fast. I would say somewhere between 3 to 5 months right now is what I'm seeing for filing that. As long as you file the I-539 and your F1 spouse still stays in status, you're totally fine to wait here while that processes. And yeah, you can recapture your H1B time in the future.
I converted my F2 to F1. What is the validity of F1 status and how many years of OPT will I have?
You're given something called D/S, which is just stands for duration of status. It basically just means as long as you stay enrolled in school, your status is good. So I'm sure you know many people who've been in school for, longer than I've been alive, probably, it seems like. And OPT, it's going to depend, optional practical training, it's going to depend on your program. You're going to get at least 12 months on OPT.
Guys, I'm not taking any questions that are coming on chat. Please use the sticker option. Once I complete the story questions that were shared, I will come back to the sticker, but please leave it on the sticker. Jacob, next question. Is it safe to apply for an H1B concurrent visa with another employer?
Yeah. Yep, I haven't had any problems with that at all. As long as you maintain your other H1B employment, heaven forbid, if your concurrent one's not approved, your status is still protected. So yeah, I have never had any problems with that.
If I apply for H1B, H4 and H4 EAD all together, is it possible that all of them will get approved together?
Yeah, it is possible.
Is it safe to travel to India on advanced parole?
I've had similar experiences with advanced parole with visas. So I've had hundreds, I guess probably thousands of clients who traveled on advanced parole now or had advanced parole. And I've never had anybody who was refused entry on advanced parole. I met one person last year who was not my client at the time he had left, who had left on advanced parole and was denied entry and had to, it has to process abroad. In his particular case, it's very odd. They found that there was fraud or misrepresentation with his application documents. So I would say this is the exception rather than the rule, right? If you have very dubious circumstances, if you have, let's say, dangerous facts, I probably would not travel on advanced parole. But if you have a straightforward case, and you need to travel again, I probably would say it's a really low risk.
Got it. My H4 EAD standalone application is in process. Can I go outside the US?
Yeah, it would depend on, yeah, so you said it was a standalone. Yeah, you can. I was going to say if you had your H4 change of status pending with it, then no, definitely don't. But if it's just your EAD, yeah, you should be fine.
Okay. If H1B lottery was picked but not activated and a layoff happens, can that H1 be used with another employer?
Dang it. I wish I could say yes. No, unfortunately, you can't.
Can someone on H1B qualify for EB1C, or is it reserved primarily for L1A applicants? I got my EB1C on H1B. Of course, I came on L1A, but Jacob, please share.
Yeah. Here's a living example of that. No, you don't have to have L1A. I've had E2s get approved for EB1C too. Usually the reason why we say it's reserved for L1s, which I mean, why people think that, is that you have to have worked for the foreign qualifying company within 1 year of the last 3 years from when you're applying. That's the reason why. But no, you can do it on H1B.
Got it. And then I think this is a good one. What are the trends and timelines for L1 and L2S extensions from within the US, premium and normal processing?
Yeah, I've actually found lately, I'm knocking on wood again, that the L1s and L2s have been processing a little more quickly now than they were a year or two ago. Probably the only trend that I've seen that I don't want to call it alarming, but different, is I feel like the fraud detection units for L1s has been elevated. I had a couple of clients where I thought they were prank calls, that they weren't real, who would receive calls from USCIS officers, again, these fraud detection officers, asking additional questions concerning their L1 employment and conducting, I think one of the interviews I was in was almost 2 hours long over the phone. So that's probably the only alarming trend I've seen with the L1s. Otherwise, I feel like this is with L1s and L2s. Otherwise, I feel like the processing time has gotten a little bit better.
Perfect. I think let's go back to the live questions. I know, Jacob, we're a little over time, but if you could stay on 5-7 minutes, I think that would be great. I think we answered this one, but I think I keep getting a lot of these questions, so let's try again. Will applying for H1B plus H4 EAD together in premium expedite the H4 EAD?
No, I wish it did. I won't expedite the H4 EAD part.
Oh, so if all three are applied together, is there a chance that H4 EAD will not come alongside?
Not with premium process. I wish it was possible to do it, at that same speed, but it's possible it doesn't.
No, I think, Jacob, there was a time when if H1B was applied on premium and H4 and H4 EAD were applied along with it, sometimes it came together.
Yeah.
I think the question here is that still happening, or is that we're not?
Sorry, I had misunderstood. I think you were saying is that every time. It's possible that happens, yes. Okay. Have I seen that recently? No. But is it possible? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it a good idea to travel to my home country while on STEM OPT for a week for a family emergency? I'm currently employed and have all the necessary documents.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about your family emergency. If your visa is still valid, yes. It seems like you have a family emergency. You got to go. But as long as your visa, your F1 is valid here, your I-20 is good, then yeah, you would be able to do that.
Does working for DoorDash or hotel restaurants part-time unapproved on CPT affect STEM OPT approval? Still waiting on taxes to be filed for it. Will USCIS be able to track it?
I would not recommend doing that because of the tax documents that you're given from those types of companies. Which would not be considered a part of your normal employment of your curricular practical training. Don't recommend that. What
are the options to get H1B for postdoc in the industry if I'm on J1 in my PhD?
Yeah, pretty solid. I'm guessing you have really solid credentials. The main thing I would just look at in your case, Sonia, is just if you have those 212E conditions on your J1, if you're subject to the 2-year foreign residence requirements. If you're a Fulbright, might be kind of difficult there, but I'm guessing you have very popular skill that people want to hire you for.
What is the trend for O1 cases getting approved?
Great. Yeah, we've seen O1 cases approval rates raise and hold steady. So the last 2 years and this year, from what we're seeing from the quarters so far, it's over 86% approval rates for O1. So really been encouraged by the O1 trends. I think a lot more people should consider those.
Can you enter the US on B1, B2 and move to day one CPT?
Well, you have to file for the change of status here as well. I haven't personally had anybody do that before. But you'd have to file for the change of status, obviously, to the F1. I would say this is a little dubious, depending on the timing of how quickly you file for your change of status. I appreciate it.
My H1B is approved 1 month ago. My spouse is on H4 and her status is still showing case transferred to another office. How long do you think it will take to get it approved?
I have a couple of people in a similar situation, and like one of them has been like 3 months and we're still waiting. Hopefully not too much longer, but yeah, it could be a couple of months.
Is it okay if the employer sponsors for H1B on contract F1 OPT?
Yep. Go for it.
For a manager in Canada, what is the best path to get green card via EB1, Indian born, and what is the timeline until you get a green card? I think, Jacob, I think if you could give a trend here on what is happening with EB1 dates. I know those priority dates haven't moved in a while. I think that would be great as well.
Yeah, there's definitely some stagnation there with EB1 and EB3 dates. I still think that the best option for our Indian and Chinese applicants is to look at getting in the EB1 category where possible. I think that there has been a flood of applicants for EB1A specifically. And so, the standard of applying, I would say, particularly with the final merits, you've got to elevate your evidence above those who are currently applying right now. I do think that we'll see some good movement forward in October. I may be a fool for being cautiously optimistic, but I do think we'll see additional movement forward there in October. I would say in this particular case, if you're a manager, assuming that the business is ongoing in Canada, you're still operating there, you've got a good business, your employer has a good business here in the States, I would take a look at doing the EB1C if it's possible for you.
Jacob, can you share any data points on what makes you believe that the priority date for EB1 might move in October? I think that will help contextualize.
Yeah, just usually just because of historical trends, because the new fiscal years start on October 1st. So really every year I've ever worked in this, I've seen movement forward there. That's really the only reason.
What is the probability of getting U.S. citizenship for a newborn baby expecting delivery on June 30th? I think this is around the birthright citizenship. Yeah.
Gosh, I never thought I would have to answer this question. It's definitely a strange time on there. Who knows, unfortunately, at this point. I would still say it's very likely for the birthright citizenship to continue. Just in my opinion, obviously I'm not a Supreme Court justice here. I think that the issue with the president's order is that it's too broad. I think that even the justices on the court who are likely to entertain the idea that the 14th Amendment would not apply to let's say, categories of immigrants that may not have been intended. I think that the fact that it also pertains to those who have non-immigrant visas who are lawfully here in the States and therefore subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S., I think it was overly broad. So that's why I think that will not end up going through.
Got it. Is it okay for my parents to stay for 5 months if the return tickets are booked? They are on valid B1 visa.
Yeah. I hope they enjoy their stay.
Okay, perfect. I'm on L1B visa and maxing out in August. My H1B was not selected. What other options do I have?
Depends on your country, Manu. If you can make O1 happen, I think that's great. If you're from a certain treaty country, I would look at the E2 visa. If you're Canadian, you got TN. I think I see a couple of you in this picture. So if your spouse has different nationality than you that might qualify for other employment visa types, I'd look at those. Otherwise, I would try, get into a program at school and see if you can improve your skills or maintain your status here studying until you have other options available.
Got it. I am on H1B and my employer often delays my paychecks. I have a question. Do we become out of status if payroll did not run for 60 continuous days?
This is a really good question. You're not required to be paid on a certain pay schedule as a part of the H1B regulations. The issue is if they do not pay you the prevailing wage determination, what they've promised that they would pay you under the LCA. If your LCA says that you're going to be paid a certain amount monthly, they need to make sure they adhere to that. If they fail to do so and you are to report your employer, that could be problematic for them. Just to be transparent with you, I have seen in times past where if you don't get paychecks and you never get a paycheck, I'm not going to wood for you. I hope this doesn't happen. But if you don't get a paycheck ever, USCIS may say that you had not maintained your status unless you can prove, this was your employer's malfeasance.
Okay, perfect. I think, Jacob, we'll do last 5 questions. That's about it. Very, very quickly. The first one is it safe to convert from H1 to F1 due to layoff and later in the future apply for H1 via another employer?
Yes. Only thing, sometimes I have seen RFEs where immigration asks, okay, do you actually want to study here? So I would just be prepared to explain your reasons for applying for the change to F1.
Got it. What is the current wait duration for STEM OPT approval?
You can apply for the premium processing here too. So I haven't seen people take that long for STEM OPT approval. Just to be honest, most people don't hire me to do the STEM OPT because they just do it themselves or with the school. But I haven't seen a long wait time at this.
What is the appropriate process to maintain H1B status in the event of a layoff? Is converting to an F1 visa a good option, or are there other visa categories one should consider?
I feel like that's a good question. Most of my clients, if you're pressed for time, will end up filing for the B2 change of status applications because of USCIS's documented policy that for H's or L's who were laid off, that they could file for this change of status to buy them additional time. I would say just because of the 60-day period, it's a pretty tight time frame to apply for an O or other types of non-immigrant visas, but it may be possible for you. It just depends on your facts.
My I-539 change of status B2 to H4 application is currently in process for a year now. If I leave the US abandoning the application and go to India, can I apply for consular processing for an H4 there? Will there be any issues with visa approval or while entering back in the US?
Yeah, as long as you can show, again, this has just been my personal experience, as long as you could show you filed your I-539 while you were in status on your B2, you never accumulated any unlawful presence because you were allowed to wait here while it told. You shouldn't have any issues. Just make sure you can prove that you did file this on time. When you file your DS-160 to get your H4 abroad, they're almost certainly not going to ask you about that, but just something to keep in mind.
How much time is it taking to get the H1B approved without premium processing?
Okay, I got a horror story and a good story then. So the last one I had, it took about 3.5 months to get it approved without premium. I had one case though that the employer and the employee did not want to pay premium. They just wouldn't. And it took 17 months for it to get approved. But we just got the approval like last month or so, for a non-premium H1B. Because when I filed the e-request with USCIS, they were like, okay, well, you can upgrade to premium on this. It was crazy.
Got it. Can I have an LLC filed while on H1B? What do I need to do to proceed legally?
Super good question. So the careful ground you want to tread is that you do not engage in any employment that you are not authorized to do. So under the regulations, there's no violation of having mere ownership or passive investment, as you may have heard. So there are many people, many clients I have who are on H1B who have mere ownership, where they are not involved in any management or obviously any employment, and who are totally fine. If you want to actively work as a part of this LLC, let's say you see yourself, you're an entrepreneur, you want to be in this startup, just file a concurrent H1B for your startup as well. Even if you list you're going to work 5-10 hours a week on that, you can do that, and then I will give you greater flexibility to be involved with your LLC.
So if you want to get involved with your LLC, you should have a concurrent H1B. Otherwise, it should be completely passive, where you have like either hired someone who's kind of running it and you're not involved at all.
Correct. And I would be, the most careful thing I would be here is in how the taxes are filed. Essentially, immigration is a game of enforcement. And if your records show that you have received income that is outside of your direct employment, that's going to be a problem. So it's very, very important. Whatever accountant you're using as a part of this files your taxes correctly in a way that does not suggest you have been employed where you have not.
Got it. Can I make an LLC to sponsor my own O1 on an OPT?
I've had clients do this on for my O1 on OPT. Oh yeah. I've had clients do this too with O1s where they own the whole company 100% as well. I would say an important part here is that your employment shouldn't be speculative. So if you have your O1 company and you've just created this, you've got to have letters from clients or customers, contracts to show that you're ready to commence business upon approval. Otherwise, if it's just you have an LLC and an EIN, USCIS is not going to consider that to be bona fide employment, in my opinion.
Got it. My initial OPT expires in 50 days. Can I start a 983 process 30 days before it expires for my STEM extension, as I'm starting new employment? What is the processing timing?
I would actually check the processing, the 983 processing. I cannot recall off the top of my head if you can do it 30 days before the STEM extension comes up. I would actually check this, just to be honest with you. I would check this with your DSO. As far as the processing times for the STEM OPT EAD is really quick.
Perfect. I try to answer as many. This is the last one, Jacob. For marriage-based AOS, number 1, stay and wait to be approved. Number 2, marry, come back to India, and then consular processing for GC. Do you have a recommendation?
Oh, this is such a good question. I would say it depends on where you are here in the States, where you live at. And second is your need to travel. If you need to travel, you have family or business or something, you need to leave the country, adjustment of status is probably not the one you want to do, because advanced parole timing is not very reliable. Could be 8 months, could be a year. It's just not reliable. And then expediting cases, I saw some data that like only 5% of cases are have the advanced parole expedited. So I don't like relying on that. Just personally, again, I said at the beginning of the call, I live in Utah, work here, and I think they're the best field office around, like processing time. So I have a lot of marriage-based cases that are done, in like 10 months or less. I have some that go over a year, but a lot of them go more quickly. So if you are fine to wait here and you prefer faster processing time, on average, I'd say you're safer with adjustment of status.
Perfect. I see a lot of people are still asking questions, but the good part is that I have covered a lot of these questions with Jacob. So it's similar trends on like timelines, where can I travel, what's happening with O1, L1, etc. So please watch this. It will be on this channel. I'll also create a YouTube video so that it's easier for you to like track, search, and find information. I'll leave Jacob's details as well on stories. It's also there on highlights. So thank you so much. If you find this helpful, please leave a comment so that I can do these more regularly. I would love to hear from you. And Jacob, before we close, any parting thoughts, anything that you want to say? I think that would be great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again, Priya. As always, appreciate you. And it's okay, Yaar. I just want to say to everybody, I know it's a difficult process that you're going through. I just want to say there are a lot of people that are rooting for you. They're in your corner. I know it may not seem that way with the news and with the rhetoric on social media, but I know a lot of you have sacrificed. All of you have sacrificed so much in coming here. Just want to let you know that we're here, and there are a lot of resources here that are cheering for you, rooting for you to succeed.
Yes, and thank you so much, Jacob. I know you take out time from your busy schedule to do this. We are very, very thankful and grateful. The fact that you offer free sessions, it definitely shows how committed you are to the process. Again, everyone, this is not like a paid thing going on. Like I have some great lawyer connections, thankfully, who are willing to spend time and answer questions. So please do leave a comment if you find it helpful. And if things aren't going your way, remember it's okay, Yaar, because they will eventually turn around. With that, Jacob, I'll let you go. Have a great weekend, and I'm sure we will do this again very soon. But thanks everyone for asking questions. To watch the video, a lot of it was answered today.
Thanks, my friend. Appreciate you. See you, everybody. Have a good weekend.